Alright, what's up guys? So recently I posted a video about a guy who shipped 28 apps and made 10K per month. And this video is really for the SaaS founders who've already built something. So I want to start this out by saying the thing that most builders don't want to hear is if you're still debating whether to focus on one big idea or ship faster, you're already kind of paying a hidden cost. And it's not in money, it's in time and attention and compounding data you don't have yet. So let's set this boundary clearly. If you're still learning how to build your first app, this video isn't for you. And if you enjoy polishing features for months without users, again, this isn't for you. But if you already have customers, already understand MVPs, and you're noticing that speed, not ideas, is the bottleneck, then you should keep listening. So here's the situation. A developer named Max shipped 28 apps in 8 months. And this is not experiments sitting on GitHub, not half-finished demos, shipped products, some tiny, some forgettable, a few meaningful, but 4 of them carried most of the revenue. And the rest existed to answer one question: does the market pay or not? And that detail matters more than the headline number, because the real shift here isn't quote unquote building more apps, it's understanding when obsession with a single product stops being discipline and starts being avoidance. Max didn't lack skill, he didn't lack discipline, he had years of experience as an iOS engineer. What he lacked was feedback density. Too much time was going into one direction before reality weighed in. And that's where many SaaS builders quietly stall. And at the start, focus feels responsible. You tell yourself you're being serious, you're committed, but after a certain point, focus without data becomes a belief system, not a strategy. And here's the decision point. When you've already built before, every additional month spent perfecting one product without new signals costs more than it looks like. And it's because you're not just losing time, you're delaying information about pricing sensitivity, retention, willingness to pay, distribution friction, and keyword demand. And Max changed one thing. He stopped treating each app like a personal identity and started treating them like probes. So each app answered a narrow question. Will people search for this? Will they download it? Will anyone pay? Does usage decay immediately or stabilize? So he wasn't trying to be right up front. He was trying to be less wrong faster. And that's the part people miss. The portfolio approach isn't about ambition. It's about judgment and direction. It's about letting markets, not opinions, narrow your option. And this is the part where guessing quietly becomes inefficient. So if you've shipped a few products already and still find yourself debating ideas in your head instead of testing them in the market, you're already operating below your leverage point. And at that stage, your bottleneck isn't skill, it's throughput. And Max didn't randomly throw apps at the wall. There was structure. Every idea started with a keyword, not inspiration, not passion, a keyword with measured demand. Because users don't wake up inspired, they wake up searching. So if someone has a problem, they don't brainstorm apps, they type words into a store. And that's a hard filter most builders skip. Usually when builders build, they just do their inspiration or passion and lack the distribution and measured analytics. So my point is, he looked for keywords with enough popularity to matter and enough competition to confirm money existed, but not so much that only incumbents survived. Then he checked whether existing apps were making at least modest revenue, not millions, just proof that the market wasn't imaginary. That's the important distinction, guys. A market making $200 a month tells you something very different than a market making zero. And it says users will pay. It also tells you expectations should be realistic. And this isn't venture logic, it's portfolio logic. From there, the build process was deliberately narrow. One problem, one core feature, everything else stripped out, not because minimalism is trendy, but because speed compounds. Guys, the faster you can go from idea to live product, the faster you replace assumptions with facts. And the uncomfortable part about all of this is, for experienced builders watching this video, speed requires giving up pride. And Max reused code aggressively. He reused layouts, he reused flows, he reused mental models. And if something already worked once, it did not get reinvented. And that's not laziness, that's respect for your time. And I hear all the time many builders say they want leverage, but they rebuild setting screens for the 5th time. And guys, that's not craftsmanship, that's friction disguised as care. And another thing that's worth noting is once he made an app live, something else happened that mattered even more. He just let it go. There was no hovering, no emotional attachment, no quote unquote just one more feature. The app either held water or it didn't, and the data decided it. So that's the moment most people cannot tolerate, because letting go feels like quitting, but in reality it's allocation. Because guys, markets don't reward attention. And over time, a pattern emerged. A small number of apps stabilized in his portfolio. A few grew, most faded, but that's expected, that's the point. And the winners earned attention later, not upfront. This is where timing becomes everything. Because early in your journey, advice like quote unquote focus on one thing protects you from thrashing, but later the same advice can trap you in local maxima, which is just small hills that feel tall because you haven't scanned the map totally. And if you're already capable of shipping, the real risk isn't doing too much, it's waiting too long to know what matters. And that's why this approach is not for everyone. It's not for people who want certainty before action. It's not for people who enjoy long roadmaps more than real usage. And it's not for people who need every project to succeed emotionally. It's for builders who want clarity faster, even if that clarity says this isn't it. And one more thing that often gets misunderstood, guys, is this is not chaos. There's a difference between randomness and structured repetition. And with Max, he didn't wake up guessing what to build. He just followed the same filters every single time, which were the same demands and same build shortcuts and the same release criteria. So for you guys, structure is what allows speed without burnout. And without structure, shipping faster just multiplies noise. With structure, speed compresses learning. That's the real trade being made. And at some point in SaaS, the question shifts from can I build this to is this worth my next 6 months? And that question can't be answered with thought alone. That question can only be answered with exposure. So if you're already building, already shipping, and feel stuck debating instead of deciding, that's usually a signal. Not that you need motivation, but that you need fewer opinions and more feedback loops. So guys, this video isn't telling you to copy someone else's system. It's just pointing out a timing problem. And there's a phase where guessing is just expensive procrastination. So only you can tell which one you're in. And if that sounds like you can book a call below. If not, keep watching the breakdowns and have a good one, guys.